Welcome back to Kinda All Good. Today we're going to be playing Big Talk.
I'm super excited. Ali and I were kind of brainstorming what to do for this week's podcast, but it's around the time when we started our very first little baby, the Entrepreneurs Podcast. So we thought we would do a full circle moment and bring in Big Talk for today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So for those who don't know Big Talk or kind of the story with it, when we started the Entrepreneurs Podcast, the first guest that we had on was Kalina Silverman, who is the founder of Big Talk. And Big Talk is essentially a card game like so, if you see our video elements right now, which is aimed at skipping the small talk and having deeper conversations with this card game that has like these conversations that provoke more meaningful conversations. And it's hoping to bring people together more, less of like, how's your day, blah, 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 the weather. It's like, what are your hopes and dreams in life? What's the most memorable moment for you? Things like that. And yeah, I think Kalina is just doing fantastic things. We had her on the podcast and it's a fun game. I created like a China's version of it with it being in Chinese. I did some events and I carried around with me in my backpack all the time. And it's always just like a super fun game. So I would love to play a little bit of this today. How do you feel about that? You want to get started?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I think this will be one of my first times playing Big Talk. I've played a couple of games that are similar. I'm a big fan of the game We're Not Really Strangers, which has like a similar kind of concept, but definitely excited to like dig deep with Big Talk today. And also hope that more of you guys like get to know what Big Talk is and maybe play with some of your friends on your campuses as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll share some more info about Big Talk in the description. But until then, we will get started. And I'm going to hit you with our first question today, Weilyn, which is, what's your earliest memory of achievement? Isn't that interesting?
That's so
I've never
cool.
Seen this one, actually.
Yeah, no, I've never seen this one either. Earliest memory of achievement.
Yeah, right? Like success. Like when, like I think of this, like what was the formation of what success looked like for you? Like who validated you or like in your mind? I don't know. I think that's such an interesting question.
That is such an interesting. I'm trying to think. Earliest memory of achievement. Oh my goodness. I don't think this is my earliest memory, but something I remember feeling like a pure sense of like pride in myself when I first, like I drew a picture for my mother for Mother's Day and it was a rabbit. And I was like, at the time I thought it was her favorite animal. Aww. And I remember in my head thinking this was like such a realistic picture of a rabbit.
I'm sure.
I don't know what it looked like.
I'm sure
I don't have the picture anymore, but I remember I was showing my friends and I felt this like, just like pure sense of pride. And I think that might've been my first memory or encounter with like pride or like something I was proud of producing, but not sure if that's my earliest accomplishment.
I love that you say that too, because I'm about to share an example that comes from like sports. And what I love about this before I get into mine is, although you and I are both very like academic or like work focused to some degree, that's not where our like foundations of achievement came from. It came from like our hobbies, like art and sports. So I just think it's like a super interesting note as well.
Yeah.
Mine, a lot of them come from like early days of like gymnastics and soccer, tennis. I started winning and like I would get medals and I was a little energetic ball, but a lot of that like came like the moments of like scoring a goal or doing like a good, like I did like flips and stuff around the world basically. And I did handstands exactly where I should not be putting my hands on the floor. I absolutely. But yeah, I remember like people would like clap in the airports when I did like handstands. I was that little girl. Yeah, 100%. I love that.
I think actually, now that I think of it, my earliest sense of accomplishment was probably from skiing. Like that was probably, I started skiing when I was 1.5 years old, which is crazy.
A prodigy.
Truly, I think it was just normal in Europe.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I remember we'd always get like these small little badges or pins. Like after you complete like a level. So like every year you could do
none of that participation shit. You completed the level.
Yeah.
No, that's so interesting. Because like if you say now, like what has been your biggest achievement in the last year? Like I think I'm answering for you, but like I think you would maybe say rowing to some degree or like some sort of other like artistic thing that you do. But I'm just guessballing. I can speak for myself. It's more like, for lack of better words, shit that I do on the computer. Not to say like the podcast is not like, it was probably the biggest achievement in the last year of mine, like creating the Entrepreneurs Network. I would say that. And that's great. But that also doesn't neglect, like, I don't know, achievement of like, I don't know, like even things of life, like moving to a new country. I feel like that's a huge achievement. Like that should be celebrated. Even like
Achievement
rekindling a
is one of those
friendship.
weird things where I feel
Yeah.
like at every point in your life, you define it slightly differently. But
Yes.
also, like, we are so bad at taking a step back and looking at achievements, like small achievements that happen every single day. Like,
Yeah.
an example of this would be like one of my friends literally does like everything under the sun, and she like looks back on her day and she's like, I did nothing today because everything she did was like supposedly easy for her. But
No.
for
Oh my
someone else to be in
God.
her shoes, it would be like in crazy amounts of things. So I think it's so interesting how every person's definition of achievement changes, but also it changes over time. I
I
don't know,
want
lots
to,
of change.
no, I kind of want to build off of this conversation because this has been something that's been on my line, especially the last 24 hours. I've received some really positive news about a summer internship that I've been working super hard for, but
Yeah.
in some weird way, and I feel this with most things that happen, we get acclimatized or we accept like a new normal. Like once you achieve that thing, maybe from college, a job, or even people for like its weight or health or whatever that be, it becomes the normal and you forget it, that special feeling so quickly and you're ready moving on to the next thing. Like I sound terrible when I say like I'm already like, oh, it's normal, like it's not even a big deal anymore. Like how dare I? Like 20, even 24 hours ago, I would kill to be where I am now. And now I'm already normalizing it. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And like how achievements can be numbed over time?
100%. I think the biggest one for me was getting to college and starting.
Mm,
Especially, I think the last week just has been like super rough for me in terms of like academics and kind of dealing with like a lot of school things that are happening and health and all of that fun stuff. But yesterday, I kind of took a step back and I was like, me 2 years ago would kill to be in college. Like, if I was
not just
looking
any
at
college,
myself,
like,
like literally any
yeah,
college, and just knowing that I have literally like a friend who like I sprained my ankle and I like was in bed and she's like, let me switch off the lights for you. And she like came into my room, switched off the lights for me, and then like walked out. And I was like, to have a friend literally like tuck me into
literally
bed
tuck you
is
in.
something that I would have killed for like a year, 2 years ago. So not exactly tuck me into bed. I don't need someone to tuck me into bed, but like metaphorically, you know what I'm saying?
Metaphorically. Being the,
Um,
yeah, that figure. No, 100%. That makes, I think everyone kind of gets that vibe. No, you're totally right. Yeah. I think we need to hold on to the feeling we feel right when we first get it instead of the feeling you feel at the end. Like, I don't know why I'm going to the example of a car. I'm thinking like, or you get a new car, like you're so excited by it. Of course, over time, yeah, the car gets older, new models come out, but like that's a physical item. Like I see how that makes sense for like a car, a new t-shirt, a new computer. But when it's like something that's so like an absolute and standing with its own self in like an achievement in your life, like you that always stands special. Like
yeah.
there's nothing else that will ever like conflict with that. Like I think that's what's so special about like writing books almost. Like books are evergreen. Like doesn't matter if you wrote a book 20 years ago now, like people still feel that same pride for a book.
100%.
I
Same
don't
with the
know.
podcast. Same with
Yeah.
anything that you
You
create, right?
create. Yeah. The
So
creating process.
yeah, I love that. I think
Wow.
it's so true.
Great first question.
Yeah, I
Okay.
loved
I love this
that.
one. This I've never, yeah, that's a really good question. So early memory because it's also like what formed your idea of achievement. Kind of
Mhm.
on that same edge. The next question is, what can you do today that you couldn't do a year ago? I would
I
love a
love
couple
that.
answer for this because like I know what yours is going to be like for one. Starts with a row.
Oh my
Like we
goodness.
love. No, no, no. But like I want a couple for you because like I can think of like 10 for you for sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
But I
no,
would
I
love this
think I
one.
am like a completely different person than I was a
Still.
year ago. And I think
Still.
everyone is to some degree. But
Yeah.
also a part of me is like, maybe I'm like the same person. Maybe I'm not growing at all. And that's definitely leans into what we were talking about accomplishments earlier. But I think for sure rowing was a big one for me. I think rowing, I think podcast, I think being kinder to myself was something that I had a really hard doing, like time doing
What
this
does that look like to you? Like I think
past
we throw around
year.
this term kinder to ourselves all the time. Like that sounds awesome. What does that mean day to day in life to you?
I think it's a lot of different forms, and every day it kind of looks different. And some days it's not as great as others. Most recently for me, it's been I get like a very intense feeling of happiness sometimes, and that comes
Yeah.
from a lot of light, a lot of sunlight, a lot of weather related things.
100%. I realized this
I'm
weekend
like a plant.
no, same. I photosynthesize 120%.
Right?
Completely photosynthesis. I need like green
100%,
patches
but
on me. I'm wearing green now so I can photosynthesize at night.
I love that. But I recently started a notes list
Ooh, we love a notes
that's just
list.
called, yeah, I know, it's just called Happy. And basically every time I get this like really intense feeling of being happy, I write down like a couple of things. I write
Tell
down like
me.
where I feel it around, like physically where I feel
In
the
your body.
happiness on the body. I feel it. I describe the environment around me, and I like wrote down like what I did with the happiness I was feeling. So
That's
oftentimes it was
crazy.
like telling someone that I was feeling happy. It was noting down whether I was walking outside, playing good music, like the feeling in especially my upper chest. I feel a lot of happiness. So I don't know, it's just kind of nice to have a list of things that like, I don't know, that like make you happy.
No, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Going back to that as well. Whenever you feel not the happiest, having that place that you can kind of go to, sight, maybe it's not
Yeah.
going to completely dig you out of your hole of some sort. It's going to make you smile or make you feel some sort of way in one way or another. Oh my God, I'm going to start doing that.
100%.
I love that. I see it as a Notion list. I
Yeah.
see that as like a Notion page. Is
100%.
it a Notion page?
Yeah.
No. Are
It
we going to
could be
see
though. Oh
Weilyn's
my goodness.
happy Notion template coming soon?
Yes, coming soon.
Oh my
Another
God.
big one is stars. That's one every night I look at the stars as I walk back to my dorm, which
Oh
is
my
so,
God.
so,
Living
so
under the
special.
stars.
Living under the stars in the armpit of America, but it's fine.
You are not in the you think okay, when you're in the armpit of America, maybe it's not even that
Maybe
bad.
just a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. No, 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 not at all. I was gonna say podcasting as well. Like if you asked me a year ago, I could name you 500 podcasts. But the idea of actually doing it myself was so daunting to me to be able to
Right.
create something, to even start something, or even couldn't do a year ago. Like this is like not something like it's like a skill, but being able to look at my phone and FaceTiming you just because like I want to and like for
I
just shits and
know.
giggles, like
Yeah.
become such a close friend, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. Side note, I got the funniest DM yesterday from another friend, and she was like, it was a meme on Instagram, and it was like, I see all these podcasts that are like two best friends. Da, da, da. I want a podcast with like two enemies that fucking hate each other. I think that's so funny. So a little shout out to that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can name a couple for you too. I feel like this year has been a big year of growth for you.
I feel like it's both been for both of us. And like that's so weird. Like we feel like we see each other so much. Yeah, couldn't do. I don't know. Yeah, because we definitely are digging into these.
Yeah.
Do
I
a
think
year.
like for you, a big one was just like living by yourself and like living
Yeah.
independently in like a new country. I feel like you made it look so easy, but I know logistically and like the amount of effort you had to put in the organization for that is like insane. Like
It's been a
on
lot.
top of,
I've moved so many times.
yeah,
I realized I was walking to the bathroom. I'd always, why do I'm referencing what I was doing when I had the thought. I was walking to the bathroom today and I had a thought. I'm like, since this time last year, I moved from Hong Kong to Miami, Miami to Canada, Canada to Shanghai. Shanghai, I moved like literally 7 times within Shanghai, moved back to Hong Kong, moved to Paris. I'm going to move to San Francisco in the summer, and then probably going to move to New York in the fall. Like, fuck, that's
insane.
within 2 years.
Yeah.
So getting
Also,
those
can we take a brief
miles.
detour and say it is absolutely insane that we started online school 2 years ago?
I can't. Hong Kong's, can we talk about Hong Kong for just 1 second?
Just
One
one
second.
second.
1 second. Hong Kong is online
What?
school. You know,
What
they're
are they
stopping
doing?
school. The local schools, okay, this is being recorded February 24th, 2022. Things change, regulation change. Best of my knowledge to the information I know from the South China Morning Post, from Bloomberg, from The Economist, from the Hong Kong Education Bureau. This is the information I have now. Disclaimer, done. Okay. All the local schools are like doing their summer March and April. Like they're just done. And then like they're starting school again. Like they're trying to do their summer during the fifth wave now. The fifth wave. Oh my God, isn't that a movie? But anyways, they're doing that now. International schools. I don't know if you've seen like the memes from people from the school we went to. Like no one knows what's going on. They had some sort of special circumstance, but like they
But
haven't
like
been
they don't even
clear.
know what it
They
looks
have
like,
no
right?
idea. No, they have no idea. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So like, for example, I'm staying at my friend's house right now in Paris. They're like, they're coming this week. Like they have two kids. They're both like preteen age. They're doing online school for the foreseeable future. They're willing to risk it. They don't think they're coming here. Like it's
Yeah.
tough. It really is. Like my sister, best friend, she has never had a normal semester. Like they had the protests. She's online school right now. We were online school 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I know. The world is moving
2 years.
without them. It's
Exactly.
insane.
That's so well put. So well put. How are your parents? Are
Yeah.
they back in Hong Kong now?
Still quarantining.
Oh my God, they're quarantining in Hong Kong right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When did
It's
they come
crazy
out?
here. They come out sometime this week, so soon, but they literally left the
What a
US
world to
in
come out to.
January.
That is crazy. Wait, they left, meaning they left the US.
They left the US in
Oh
January.
my God.
Yeah.
You used to be able to get back to Hong Kong within the night. Like you would leave the US or leave in the night and be there by the morning.
Yeah,
And now it literally takes like the boat was they could have taken a ship. It would have been quicker.
I know.
Could have gone back and forth. Oh my God. Crazy.
It's
Honestly, anyone listening from
insane.
Hong Kong, my heart goes out to you. I know it's been really tough. It's been a really tough
Especially
almost
for
3 years
like
now.
the high schoolers and also honestly just like young parents as well. Like I remember at the start of the pandemic, a lot of the teachers we had in high school, they had like little ones. And even back then it was like this whole thing, like just like being a parent at home, but also teaching, but also making sure that your kids are
I can't even
developing
imagine.
properly. Till now, and they're still dealing with it. My heart goes out to all of
I
you.
could not imagine. Like, could not imagine. I can barely take care of myself. The idea that you would have to like take care of 2, 3, 4 children, a partner,
Yeah.
mortgages, bills, medical, sometimes the upper generation as well, the grandparents, the side generation supporting brothers and sisters, like the number of responsibilities like we think we have now, we think we're so busy. None of them are urgent. Like at the end of the day, like we are very busy, but it's things we bring into ourselves. Like one day we're going to have a point in our life, we're going to have things on our plate that we don't even like. To some degree, school even is that. Like school, you can still say
100%.
yes or no to some degree. If you have a child, like you can't say no. If you have a parent that's like really ill, you can't say no. If you have a brother who isn't doing well, you can't say no. You need to take care of them. So yeah,
That's an interesting thing. Right before I left high school, one of my teachers told me that your 20s are, everyone says your 20s are the best years of your life. And he was like, yeah, your 20s are the best years of your life, not because of like the fun you'll have or all of that. Like, sure, that will happen. He said that it's the only time where you can control the ties that you have. Like, it's the only time when you're not tied down to anything and you are living truly your most authentic self, because after you'll have all of these other ties that are out of your control, whether it's your children, your family, your partner, your parents. Right now you're like kind of in a free space where everything you do is kind of self-imposed.
I'm actually going to push back on that.
Interesting.
Agree the responsibilities 100%. I'm going to push back on the phrase that's not just what you said, like it's a widely accepted phrase, the 20s is the best time of your life. I know so many people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s who are living their best lives right now, and they would they would never want to go back to their 20s or even 30s. Like the idea of peaking late, it's something so no one talks about it, because I think, okay, watch this video essay about it. Just bear with me for a second. Like the Western society and also like Eastern society to some degree, just in general, society is obsessed with proteges and like young proteges. 18 and self-started this, 20-year-old, 14-year-old successful. Like the idea of being young and so successful and already knowing that is so like it's fetishized to some degree. So when you're 20 years old, you've lived a fifth of your life to some degree, and like you're already at the top of your game, like what are you gonna do for 80 other years? Not to say you're not going to continue to be successful, but like you can have that same growth or even way more growth from ages 40 to 60, like immensely.
100%.
Like the idea that like, oh no, you don't have the best time at college or you didn't have a good group of friends, like that is such a short-term belief to have. Like I can speak anecdotally, even like from like my dad, he had friends growing up, nothing like too close. He moved to Hong Kong when he was 28. Like pretty much he barely talks about, or nothing because it's sad, but like nothing remarkable. He doesn't speak in just intense happy terms. not that it was anything was bad or anything, but like what I'm trying to say is he's the happiest probably from age 30 on. And like
Yeah,
he seems to be getting happier every year. So like
100%.
that's what
No,
I'm trying to say. Like, the idea of late bloomers. That's the term. There's a
yeah,
book about it, late bloomers, but like I think it's something that's not talked about enough at all. And it makes people
no,
feel like they're not just at the top of their game right now when they're young and sexy and hot and everything's supposed to be at your like you have all the opportunities potential now. No, you have potential for the rest of your life. You can do anything whenever you
yeah.
want.
No, I love that. I think one of the most real times I realized that we are in it for the long game and it really
Yeah.
kind of hit me was end of last year's spring. I was sitting, I know exactly where I was sitting. I was sitting with one of my guy friends in our common room and we sat back in the chair. We were all like slumping in our chair. I think it was like just when finals had finished and we were just starting summer break. And he sat there and he looked at me and he was like, Weilyn, shit, we're only like a fifth of the way there. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, we're a fourth of the way done with college. Like, we're almost there. Like, it's crazy to think that we're almost done. And he's like, no, like, we're like just barely a fifth of our life through. You are going to have to do this 5 more times. And it like hit me. I was like, shit, like 5 more times of every single thing I've experienced now, 5 more times.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, from that day on, it was very much like everything now is like so minuscule in that larger time lapse.
That's so
But
true.
I
Even
don't
like
know.
that's why I'm quite close to my grandparents, and it's for a number of reasons. But one of the things too is they put things into such great perspective.
Yeah.
Like they've had so many life experiences, just like most 80, 70-year-olds have. And it really helps know what are the things that are happy in the long term that stand out and things that are so negligible in your life that you think are the biggest thing ever that really you don't shouldn't get fussed off about. Like don't lose sleep over that. Let your life be focused on the things like that. Because there's nothing too, and this is something that I've been thinking about that I just want to like put out into the world because I it's in my mind so much now. Everyone talks about burnout, sure. But I think the burnout that people talk about is short-term burnout. Oh, I've been working for like 8 months nonstop. I've been working for 2 months nonstop, 3 months. I mean, going back to this like protege thing, young people, you like were in middle school and high school, you did so well, or like you were young in college, like to some degree, like what we're doing, and to some degree, like in college, like kind of killing it and doing your thing. To some degree, yeah, I'm gonna say like I'm very happy with my levels of accomplishments, and I am sure same you won't like absolutely you as well beyond 10 times 10. Like I don't want to get to a pace when I'm 20. I'm like fuck, like it's tiring. So the idea of saying like this isn't a race right now, like this is the way I want to live my life because it's fun and like it's breaks and there's flows and it's not like I'm racing to something. Like that's not long term. It's not like I'm 40 and like what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah.
Like it's like a lifestyle I build and not a sense of being busy. But that's also true. It's like some people think this would be like the worst nightmare to be busy and that sort of thing. Like sitting, doing nothing, but like I crave meaning. And it's so
Yeah.
cliche, but like I derive a lot of meaning from like work and things I create and connections I make. And not everyone's the same way, and that's okay. So I've learned that to not feel like because other people like try to impose things. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like some people are like, no, like relax, like do something. And like I'm all for relaxing. Like you see me, I relax, I have fun, I go out, like I do stuff. But some people don't see that, or they don't are not happy with how much I do it or the way I do it, or that sort of like, what are your thoughts on that? Like when people like because I know you relax with like I can always say sure relax like I know you do relax and like you do have rest time.
Yeah.
And when people are like no she never does, like what are your thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. And I think I see like where people are coming from. Like when I
Yeah, for
see
sure, coming from
when I
care.
see like when I see the way that you relax, right? Like you love to surround yourself with people, like not to say that you don't like your like alone time,
Mhm.
but you do thrive so much on like the people around you. And a lot of it is like connecting with people around you and like doing all of that. For me, I love doing that too, but it takes a lot of my energy. Like
Mhm.
I am someone who loves like being there for people and like I get a lot of energy from being helpful with to other people and like
Mm.
being around other people. But when I'm in like a big party space or like when I'm surrounded by a lot of people and like have to be on, that takes a lot of my energy. So like my relaxing time is like very much like me just like with my thoughts either walking or just like literally just like sitting down after a long day. And I realized like I don't know, at one point I was like, oh, like I wish I could be more like Allie and like just like wish I could like like have that component. But then I realized like everyone relaxes in such a different way and there's like no point in like being like, oh, like she relaxes in this way, like I wish I could relax in that way too, and like kind of like force yourself to be something that you're not. Like I think it's so important to protect your energy, find ways you get energy and need energy back. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever told you this, but
No, you haven't. Like, love the vulnerability, first of all.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I think in terms of like relaxing, doing that, I have a lot of people who tell me like don't be around, how take your time for yourself, which I do. But I realize after like a certain point, which is a lot lower than others, I feel very stressed being by myself. Not stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, after a long time, like I'm happy even to go like on a 2 day trip by myself, I could do that. But like spending multiple nights like dinner alone or having one like that stresses me out. I feel like I need to, like I find it difficult to like let's say I want to do like just sit in my silent thoughts and eat, that's fine. But then I just feel like I'm like staring, doing nothing. Like I want to talk to people while I eat. I find eating a very social thing. Or let's say it's like an afternoon, I just don't want to do nothing. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll read a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll work out. Okay, if I'm by myself like in the house, like okay, I'll use a screen. And then when I think of screens, it's either like, okay, relaxing time. So I know I could be doing something super productive. So it's either like I end up doing that and then that's just like not what I'm doing. Or I do like absolute trash. Like I don't have like the mental energy in my life right now to like watch like some acclaimed good movie. I watch like season 2 Modern Family, season 4 Where's the Waverly Place. Like I literally do that. And like a couple episodes, like that's great. But then like I'll go down rabbit holes, I'll watch it for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, so I just feel like angry and upset with myself. And like that
Yeah.
happens way more than I like to admit. Actually, no, it happens a lot and I would like to admit it. And so I kind of know like what my triggers are. And I know, people
Yeah.
are like, oh, I'm just learning more about myself every day. But like, it's true. As you get older, you learn more about yourself every day. It's like we're all experiments and we collect more and more data about ourselves each day. So we can have better algorithms to predict future behaviors.
I love
Oh
that.
my
I love
God.
that. And I think that's so true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like college is such a weird place. I know this is not the direction we were going
Oh my
to.
God,
Maybe we
no.
should
We are One
pull
Direction.
another card or something. But I feel like you're so right in terms of like putting so much pressure on yourself in your early 20s to
Yeah.
be the most successful version of yourself almost. I feel like that's been getting to me a lot. I feel like
Tell me.
I put a lot of pressure on my 2022 to be like this beautiful year. I had like this whole big plan on how I was going to like turn my life around. And when that didn't happen, I feel like a lot of my energy was spent telling people, oh, like my life doesn't look as perfect as it could be, even though I'm sure on the outside it looks like I'm crushing it and killing it, but
And
it
that's
never
so
feels
important that
like
you just
that.
said that. I've never heard you say that, like
Say,
about
yeah,
yourself. I've never heard you say, I know from the
yeah,
outside, it looks like I'm crushing it.
I know. It's
I've never heard you
crazy.
say that. That's amazing. Like I know that. I believe that everyone knows that, but I've never heard you say it yourself. That makes me
I
so
know, but
happy.
I
That makes me
I feel
so
like
happy
I
that you
don't
said that.
see it. Like a part of me is like, oh my goodness, I am so all over the place. And like that's all that consumes me because I feel like this like sense, oh my goodness, this is just me talking like I'm in therapy now. But like
No,
it's just like this overwhelming sense that like I don't have it together, that like I'm not doing enough because like every day I'm doing things like school and like not putting in a lot of work into things that I love, like this podcast. And so then a part of me is like, oh my goodness, like my life is all over the place. And then like my friends will be like, oh my goodness, you're killing it. And then I just like feel this like tension almost every day where I feel like I'm living like not the double life, but I just feel like I need to like get to that image. I don't know. It's so weird. It's
yeah,
something
no.
else.
I like that you said image as well. It's like this is a weird analogy to draw, but you know what body dysmorphia is, right? It's like
Mhm.
dysmorphia of your life almost. Like,
100%.
with like dysmorphia, like body dysmorphia, there's like that like eating disorder image of a girl who's pretty skinny, looks in the mirror and she sees herself as super fat. I think we
Mhm.
have that same image with like your accomplishments. Like imagine like this is a weird thing to say, but like imagine like you're looking at like your LinkedIn or like even like what's on your desktop, like on your computer,
Yeah.
like your Google Drive, your inbox, like whatever that may be, whatever your notion, your visual representation of things in your life. And like it's so crowded, it's so full, it's so impactful, it's so content filled. But you see it, it's like one notes, one Google Doc. You're like, I'm doing
Yeah.
nothing. Like I feel like that's what's going on, like in a visual sense. I'm like visualizing that right now.
No, 100%. Like I resonate with that so much. I wonder if there's like a thing for
That
that. Like if
must
there's like
be.
dysmorphia for
dysmorphia for accomplishments,
Or
dysmorphia of
yeah, almost.
success,
Yeah, I don't
something
know.
like
I
that.
think
That
it's
was
like
so
something
interesting.
definitely that like this is not like a new or like thing
No,
that's
no, no, no,
unique to
no. We
like
are not
either of
social
us. I think
psychologists.
a
We did not
lot
just
of
invent
people,
something.
yeah, I think a lot of people like feel that way though. Like I don't know whether it's a form of like imposter syndrome or something, but it's very much like you're accomplished. Like, yeah, it's very much like there's almost like these two images of yourself and like they look so different.
100%.
That's
Oh
so
my
interesting.
gosh. And like even seeing like this is a question that's not on Big Talk, but like how would you describe yourself when no one else is home? And by that I mean like you're in your room by yourself, the Zoom's not on, you don't have a class, your friend isn't over. Like, how are you as a person? Like, how do you treat yourself? How do you treat your items, your possessions? Like, how are you? Like, how would you describe yourself? You looking in from yourself. Like, if you had like a camera just looking on yourself in your room, like going to
Mhm.
bed, like you're doing your night routine or your morning stuff. Like, what is who is that person like? Like you have no identity almost. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. In that moment, you're not Weilyn the student, you're not Weilyn the daughter, you're not Weilyn the friend, you're Weilyn just Weilyn like a human almost. Like what is she like?
Yeah, that's crazy and almost scary to think about.
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm being completely honest, I am like autopilot when I'm like completely by myself. Like when I don't have a lot of time by myself. It's basically just the morning. Like when I think of like before I start schoolwork, which is usually like 30 minutes after I wake up and like usually 30 minutes before I sleep. So like for those 30 minutes, I'm like solely working on myself, if that makes sense. And those 30 minutes are the 30 minutes of my life that are truly autopilot. Like I wake up, I grab the cup that I have that
You
has my
brush your
toothbrush,
teeth.
my toothpaste, my
Yeah.
my floss. I actually like put on all of my clothes for the day, grab that,
Oh.
go upstairs, brush my teeth, like, use the toilet.
So do you put your clothes
Um,
out the night before? Are you one of those girlies? Or do you
I
grab
used to
something
be
new?
someone who put 7 days worth of clothes lined up in piles.
Shut
No
up.
longer that person,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I used to literally try to make
No.
my me time as productive as possible and waste as little time as possible. And then I realized like that habit of me like literally doing 7 days in advance was making me like a little bit insane. So I was like, let me not do that. But
Oh my gosh.
no, nobody's ever asked me that before, and it's kind of scary to think about.
No, it is. Like it's
Yeah,
almost like a weird, I don't want to say big brother, but like big sister moment.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, some like you looking into yourself. Like imagine you are okay, this is such a weird thing, but like I am like, oh yeah, like haha, like I'm a little Disney princess. But like, okay, like imagine you're like a Barbie or you're like a doll and like you're living in like a little doll house. And like imagine yourself as small and there's this big person, which is also you, looking into the dollhouse, which is you. Like,
Yeah.
how does she play? What is she
Oh
like? I
my
don't know. I
God.
know it's so weird.
Crazy.
It's kind
I
of
think it's
weird.
also this like I guess like one question that I always ask myself when I'm like alone and doing things to take care of myself
Yeah.
is it's always how do I be more productive with this time? Like how can I make
Ooh.
this more of an efficient system for myself, which is something else that's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
what do you look like all by yourself?
I think I'm like very innocent and gentle by myself. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I very much put like a huge shell or like an armor when I go out into the world. Armor meaning not necessarily like I'm cold, like armor, like, like alive, being on. That's it. Like I'm off, like in that same way. Like, when you go, like you fly like a long haul flight by yourself and you realize, like, whoa, I haven't said a word in like 20 hours because you say something to like the flight attendant. Maybe you say something to the immigration. I feel like that. Like, I'm not, unless I'm like, no one, sometimes low key, I do talk to myself, not like full on like conversations, but like I'll say like random sentences that I'm thinking of. Like, I'll like say it out loud or like practice saying something. Like, I will definitely admit to doing that. Um, I'm not someone who like loves taking long, long, long baths or showers unless I'm freezing cold. I'll take like a hot shower, but like I don't adore like all these like drawn out like getting ready process. Like I try to get ready as quick as possible. Like I don't wear makeup. I don't think like I try to be as efficient in that like looking good, but not compromising. I don't ever do anything with my hair. I don't hair dry my hair so much so to a point where I go out with my wet hair every single day and it freezes crusty disgusting. But like I'm not a big thing. I'm organized, but I'm not clean. And you can be both, which I've now learned.
Yeah.
So I like organizing, but I do not like cleaning. I like taking care of myself. Like I treat myself like I would, I don't know, someone else. I'm
I
very
love
calm and
that.
slow. Yeah. Calm
I
and
love
slow
that.
with myself. And yeah, I'm a little methodical. I like to like night before I put everything out. I like to have everything in order, things
Mhm.
plugged in, things charged, things away, like my space clean. I like my space clean. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that I don't use a lot of beauty products or like creams, that sort of thing. So I'm not like a huge like 3 hour. Oh my God, it smells so good. My friends are cooking right now. It smells amazing.
I love that.
Yeah, I like good food, but I don't cook for myself. I actually have been cooking a little bit for myself. Okay, I used
You
an oven
have
for the first time
been.
this week. Eek, I made fire Brussels sprouts.
She did.
Fire. I
I saw
fired it.
them.
I get creative in the kitchen. I think that's a little bit of me. Okay, we're gonna go on to our next question because we've done two, and I think we should finish up with three because I feel
Oh
like
my
that's
goodness.
wholesome.
Yeah.
Next one. What is your favorite place in the world? And because we are third culture kids, we can have three answers.
Three
So I'm allowing three
answers.
answers.
Oh
So
my
we can
goodness.
go back and forth. I can start if you want to brainstorm a little bit. I know my first one for sure.
Okay, you go first.
My first one is by on the dock on Lake Muskoka or Lake Stony in Northern Ontario in Canada
I
in the
love that.
summer with my family on a hot summer day. Finish getting ice cream in the lake, wet in the park. It's beautiful. The boat
Oh,
is there. There's like it's like a pre-hour or like it's like 5:30. The sun is still up, but there's like a cheese platter situation, olives situation. Everyone's having fun there. I feel the warmth of the wood, cedar wood on the dock as I'm like lying down. We have these like thick, gorgeous, luxurious, honestly, like pillow or towels that feel like so thick. They're like blankets, lying on them, the sun beating down, wearing a sunscreen, like the smell of sunscreen, sunglasses. That's one of the favorite moments. I haven't had that moment for like 2 years now because of COVID, but I have it this year. But that's definitely number one. And I've been doing it every single year in the summer, even though we didn't live in Canada. That's my first.
oh my goodness.
What
I
about you?
love that. Oh, that is so hard. I
A
feel
good
like my
one.
first one, the first one that comes to mind, actually, so many come to
I
mind,
know
but
it's a good one. Wait, side note, have you done the Google My Maps thing?
no, I don't have that.
That is such a fun activity we should do together. I've done it with some friends. So basically on Google Maps, you can create like your own map. Like you can like put spots. So like you can have like my friends and I we all have like special places in our life. Like you can just put a location. It can be like Prince University, Hong Kong International School, like Singapore, whatever. Like and it's like Weilyn's map and it's like little red dots, or you can like change color coding different categories. But
Yeah.
it's super special. And then you like see your whole
Wait, let's
world.
do that for our next
It's
episode. That's
so
gonna
much
be
fun.
super
Wait, let's
fun.
see. I actually love that. No, it's
I
so much
love
fun.
that.
We'll do that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm a geography. Oh my God. Wait, sorry. I have one more side note and then I'm so sorry. I realized my geography thing is like getting bad now. Like I am someone, okay, turn off immediately. If you're like so incompetent in geography, that is such a turn off for me. Today in French class, we were doing like, we were learning things. It was like 8 different landmarks, 8 different places. Like I'm not naming names, incompetence, like beyond incompetent, like Forbidden City in Kenya situation. Like I cannot.
Ooh,
Like Kilimanjaro in Japan. Like I could not. And I just was very sassy. So maybe lost
yeah,
some friends, but at least my geography stays.
true.
So maybe I need to
I
like
never
loosen up
leave.
about that. I think I need to loosen up on that. I think I'm like burning bridges.
Oh my goodness.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
no,
Tell me your favorite
I feel like
place.
geography is one of those things I loved as a child, but like
Yeah,
have kind of like let loose and
I
like my
should
memory
have.
of that is
No, I
like
should.
is kind of loose. So
No, I
my
should.
directions are not the best, but
I
we
should.
power through.
We power through.
Um, I think I'll start early. I think the first one was we did a lot of road trips when I was younger. So
Yeah.
definitely like backseat of the car. You like we all piled in with
Oh my
like
goodness.
my mom would like make sushi. We'd have our little like snacks in the
No, I
car.
would
And
die.
we'd like take these long road trips to Disneyland or to like the tulip fields
Wait, you
or
Disneyland to
to the
Paris?
windmill.
Paris Disney?
Mhm.
Waylon, you didn't tell me that. That sounds like the
Yeah.
best ever.
Oh my goodness, it was not super child friendly because smoking was allowed in all areas. So my parents would literally have
No.
to like put us on their shoulders. So like we were like above the smoke.
No.
but good memories there for sure.
100%. Oh my gosh, that is such a good one. Wow, I can feel that. Oh, I want to do that. Can we do that? Can we please do
Yeah,
that?
we'll
That
do
sounds
it.
amazing.
Oh
I
my
gotta find a
goodness.
time to go to Disney here. Okay, the second
Okay,
one,
second one.
definitely bring it back to HKG, Hong Kong.
HKG.
Lots of memories, of course, but I would say the area in which we grew up in Hong Kong is a special place to me. Specifically, in my house, we had like this outdoor area, and we spent a lot of time there. We had like blow up pools there when we were younger. We had all like their parties there and dinners and activities and workouts and long conversations and like watering the plants and just the music always blaring and cooking dinners and so many memories. So many memories there. And it was such a special place. Like like I feel like so connected to every element on that area, like the stone, the wood, the leaf, everything. It just feels so connected to me. And when I think of that, and like on a beautiful sunny day or like a sunset in Hong Kong, just everything in the world just feels so flowy and perfect. There's nothing else. There's really nothing else.
100%.
What
This
about
is like
you?
classic Hong Kong. Actually, I was gonna say
Classic
like
Hong Kong.
my grandparents' place in Singapore, like just the
What's it
smell of it.
like?
It's like a
Smell? Huge
small, yeah,
memories.
it's like a
Huge
small
memories.
apartment in Singapore, but like it just brings back so many memories of like they would take us to the public library and like we don't speak,
Really?
like I didn't speak really good Mandarin growing up. So whenever I was with my grandparents, it was always like we didn't have like like we had a lot of like language barriers. So it was a lot of like acting out things or like trying to point to things. And some of my best memories was them bringing us to public libraries and
Wow.
them bringing us to eat. And like even though there was that language barrier, like just so much love that they showed us despite it was amazing. But I was debating between that one and like the classic, the walk from like the Manhattan to like Stanley.
Oh, of course. And you go down that
And you
view.
go down and there's like that view.
That view.
Oh,
I
so
know
many good
exactly. I have
memories
so
there.
many photos of that as well.
Yeah.
Like the moment, I think I took a video the other day, or not the other day when I was in Hong Kong. When you come out or you come off of Stanley Gap Road, you take the roundabout to your right, like that roundabout, that moment of that roundabout, you're like, honey, I'm home. Like that is the honey, I'm home moment. I love it.
100%.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I can almost feel it, smell it,
Like
hear it.
exactly.
Oh, my
Exactly. You like kind
heart.
of get like the taxi driver's like kind of aggressive. So you're like thrown to
Yeah,
one
like,
side.
oh my goodness.
No, you'll be there
Oh,
soon. You will be there in
I
June,
know.
right? Do you have to book
Yeah,
tickets?
June
Or did you
5th.
book? Oh, you booked tickets? Oh my
I
God, June
booked
5th?
tickets.
No, that's so
I know.
exciting.
So excited to be
Oh my
home.
God, that is so awesome.
Okay, third memory to wrap us up for today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a couple that come to mind because those are like the Canada, Hong Kong, those places close to home. I'm gonna say another place that's very special to me is Israel. We'd go there like every year growing up as well. Like there's other specials too, but I would say Israel was very special, particularly the beach in Tel Aviv is just such an amazing vibe. Like everyone there is like lying down, relaxing. The sun is beating. The food and the fruits and the vegetables are just so full of life. Full of people are running. There's dogs. There's music. Everyone is so calm. Everyone is like smoking weed at this point now too. There's scooters everywhere, and there's sandhouses. Everyone is like people in Israel love being in Israel so much, and there's such a pride of being that, similar to Singapore, South Korea, Switzerland. Like I think just in general countries that have a military, that's a whole other conversation. But like people basically love a lot. And there's a lot of pride there. Also, literally, there's a lot of pride there. There's a big pride community there. But no, the beach, it's so gorgeous, and you're in the Mediterranean Sea, and you're eating shakshuka. Like, what else do you want? The freshest feta cheese, and just it's beautiful. And I cannot wait to do a little Canal Good tour in Tel Aviv with you one day.
I cannot wait. That's gonna be amazing.
Hit me with your last one.
Last one. So many good ones. I won't do one that's like a travel related one, but lots of good memories on in the small little town in France called Leger. We would go every year.
Wait, should I go?
Yeah, it's like more of like a ski little like lodge village, but it's so nice. So many good like memories growing up there.
Gosh.
But I think for my third one, I'm gonna choose something right here in the heart.
I was gonna say you have to.
I think that my favorite thing right now is like around like 10 p.m. There's like one walk in like a quad area where there's like a lot of grass. And whenever I'm walking back from like not classes, but like the library back to my dorm at night, I always make it a point to like look up at the stars, and they're like the Orion's belt, I think, is like very like clearly
Do you
seen.
know the stars now?
No,
That is
just that
so
one.
sick. Wait, what about the
But
Big Dipper or the Small
oh, I have
Dipper?
no idea. I
I
have
have no
no
idea.
clue. But
That could be like a
it's
fun random thing to learn about.
yeah, no, 100%. I think it's so special to like feel connected in that way. So I don't know. I'm a big star. I don't know any of the meanings or
Oh, the
whatever,
North
but
Star. I know that one.
yeah, I
That's kind of
love
it.
just looking at the stars. It's so
No, it's
special.
beautiful. And I don't, okay, so that's my favorite thing about stars as well. This is, I would, going back to the dock, we would always, the last night, we would always come out, we'd lie on the dock. There was always so many bugs. So we'd get like full and like, bug spray sweat and that sort of thing. And we'd
Yeah.
lie and look at the stars and like, I can't see any, I can't see enough. My dad would always say to me, like, the more you look, the more you see. Like, if
Yeah.
your eyes have to adjust. And I feel, okay, maybe I'm like making this unnecessarily as an extended metaphor, but I think that's the same in life. Like, you have to let your eyes adjust. Like, even like when you're walking,
Oh,
like
I
when people tell you like
love
when
that.
people tell you like get off your phone, whatever, just look around the signs. You're like, yeah, it's nice, whatever, it's fine. Like, no, like the longer you look, or even with like meditations too, or even like with a run, like anytime you start something, like the first couple minutes are always like trash. It's always annoying.
Yeah.
When you start a workout, even when you're in like a study session, like sometimes like it's so annoying in the first couple minutes. Like you have to let your eyes adjust, like literally and figuratively.
Oh,
So
I love that. I got the chills. Oh
we'll
my
end on
goodness.
that note, letting your eyes adjust. And on that note, I hope you let your ears adjusted to the podcast today. I really enjoyed this. I know we didn't get
Yeah, it
through
was kind
too
of
many
fun.
questions, but I think that just goes to show that Big Talk prompts these conversations. And it's not like
I
some sort of
know.
like Uno card game. It's not like what's your color.
Yeah.
It's a game where you can ask 3 questions and it takes you an hour. And I learned a lot about you, a lot about myself, a lot about the world.
Yeah, no, this was so
100%.
much fun.
I
Oh,
really like
okay.
this.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Be sure to continue to follow our journey wherever you listen to your podcast, but also on Instagram and LinkedIn at the Entrepreneurs Network. Be sure to give us a like and a follow, and also give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would really help us out. But we will see you next week for another new Kind of All Good episode. Bye.
Bye.